Hello there, welcome to The Window. My name is Amy and this is my January wrap-up and my February TBR. For my January TBR, I only have 3 of the 5 books that I read actually with me because I sent 2 of them away to my local book exchange for credit because I'm probably never going to read them again and may as well get credit to buy more books. So the first book I read in January was Atonement by Ian McEwan. You may have seen the 2007 film. It won some Academy Awards. It had Keira Knightley, James McAvoy and Benedict Cumberbatch in it. This is about a girl called Bryony who witnesses an interaction between her sister and their family friend one day and makes some very bad assumptions as a result of this, and the whole book is pretty much her atoning for the consequences of those assumptions. Overall, I did enjoy this book, but mostly from an analytical perspective. The use of multiple perspectives and the integration of different writing styles really intrigued me, but it was a bit slow, especially because the author paid a lot of attention to detail that wasn't necessary to the plot. However, the slow pace ultimately put me off and I probably wouldn't read it again. And I probably wouldn't recommend it to anyone. I would recommend the movie because I really enjoyed that, but yeah, it just wasn't my thing. So I would probably give it a 3, maybe 3.5 stars, probably 3 stars. The next book I read in January was Fangirl by Rowell. I really enjoyed this book. It's about a girl called Kath who goes off to university or college for the first time, and she's pretty much alone to start off with because her sister sort of wants to make her own way and express her individuality, I suppose. And so she sort of is left friendless and is consumed and sort of retreats into her fanfiction writing. But she does ultimately find an unlikely friendship with her roommate and her roommate's friend. So romance ensues and all that good stuff. But I think one of the major themes in this book is the complication of family relationships, and that was something I really enjoyed. Most of the books that I've read that are based in, a college life or whatever, they don't really deal with family relationships. Really identified with the main character, Kath. I don't write fan fiction, but I don't read it. Every single character in this book was realistic. The relationships they had with one another was realistic. The situations, I think, were really quite realistic. Fangirl made me laugh, it made me cry. I loved how Rowell integrated excerpts from Kath's fanfiction and also the works upon which Kath's fanfic is based. So I really enjoyed that and I would give it a 4.5 stars. The next book I read in January was Catch Me If You Can by Frank W. Abegnale. This is the autobiography of Frank W. Abegnale, detailing his crimes as a con man. He did so many things. He impersonated pilots, he impersonated doctors, he did forgery to incredible lengths. It was just, what he did was incredible. That being said, most of the book was him going,
"Yes, I know I committed crimes, but, I was really good at it. Look at all the amazing things I did."
It was really sort of self-congratulatory and I didn't like that tone. It sort of reflects the author's and the persona's personality, but yeah, you still committed crimes. That and the fact that it was a bit slow at times was the contributing factors to its 3-star rating from me. Yeah, it was enjoyable, but, and sort of like Atonement, I just liked the movie better. The movie had Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio in it, so you can't really blame me, can you? The next book I read in January was Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. Fun fact, Stiefvater means stern father in German. There you go. This is about a girl called Grace who was attacked by wolves when she was younger but saved by one of those wolves who dragged her home, and she's had a real connection with that wolf in particular for many, many years. But that wolf is a werewolf, but I like the way that Maggie Stiefvater does werewolves, if you know what I mean. It's not, you know, full moon, it's sort of more science fiction than fantasy, in the respect that it's because of the cold that they turn into wolves. I don't know, I found that very interesting. It's not something I'd heard of before. So one thing I didn't like is the fact that it was so insta-lovey. They insta-love put blinkers on. I was like, no, these are stupid characters. But they really weren't. They were good characters. It just, they weren't flawed characters, and I always look for flaws in characters because that makes them more realistic. One thing I do have to say is the publishing efforts gone into this book is amazing. The design efforts gone into this book. I mean, the cover is just amazing. And then the title page is just as beautiful. And then throughout the entire book, the ink is a sort of dark blue, which is really interesting, and I'd never seen that before. And it just, it's very impressive. Let me put it that way. It's very impressive. I really enjoyed this book, despite the insta-love, despite the somewhat lack of depth in the main characters. I quite enjoyed this book. So I'm probably going to give it a 3.5-star rating, just because I quite enjoyed it, but there were flaws that made me not enjoy it as much as I possibly could have. The last book I read in January was The Revenge of Seven by Pittacus. This is the 5th book in the Lorien Legacies series, or the I'm Number 4 series. So there's not much really I can say about this because, you know, it's the 5th in a series, so I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was a great installment. Going into it, I didn't remember anything from the previous 4 books because it had been so long since I read them. But picking it up, I just slipped right back into it, which was really nice. I just love the characters in this book, or this book series, I should say. And yeah, I'd probably give this a 4-star rating. Yeah, 4-star rating. The last book I started reading in January is A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I'm about a third of the way through, I think, and really enjoying it so far. It's really close to the TV series, which I was surprised by because I was told that it wasn't. But I'm not blown away with it. I don't know. I'm enjoying it, but it's not as eloquent as I expected it to be. It uses a lot of old language, but the description is very basic, I think, and which is good because it's a fast read, and well, so far it's a fast read, and it's easy to understand what's going on, and it's fast paced, so I suppose that's a good thing. But I think the clever thing in this is the plot and the characters, not necessarily the writing. It's just like Harry Potter. Not just like Harry Potter, but it's like Harry Potter in that respect. So I'm hoping to finish this one in February. Now on to the rest of my February TBR. And this is in no particular order. One book I want to read is The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling, Animal Farm by George Orwell, Champion by Marie Lu, which is the last book in the Legend trilogy, The Blood of Olympus, which is the last book in the Heroes of Olympus series by Riordan. I don't remember anything that happened in the previous book, House of Hades, except the Percabeth Fields. All the Percabeth Fields. The Maze Runner by James Dashner, and The City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, which is the first book in the Mortal Instruments series. I know, I probably should have started this series a long time ago, but... So that's my February TBR, as well as my January wrap-up. Let me know in the comments below what you're planning on reading this month and what you read last month, and if you'd read any of the books that I'm going to be reading this month. Let me know what you thought about them. As always, I'll have all of the Goodreads links in the description box, and have a good week. See you next time. Bye.